Hi Quilter! Thank you so much for joining us on this 5th video of our show quilts. I am Aline Bugarin.
And I am Natasha Bugarin.
And we are doing this online virtual exhibition on our show quilts because all the people that know our work, know our show quilts, because that's essentially what we do for fun. What we do for exploring techniques that we want to, learn and want to know how to do. So that's how we manage the time to make it. All of our show quilts have this feature on them, in them, that there is always something that we are doing for the first time, and it will probably be doing wrong. And we are kind of proud of that because we are always experimenting in our show quilts. And as you do, show quilt after show quilt after show quilt, you get some kind of comfort only to know that if it enters a show, it's worth it. And even if it doesn't enter, it's worth it anyway because you learn so much from it. So that's what we want to share here with this show and tell, talks, because we learned so much from these quilts, and it's a shame if it would be a shame if this only stick to us, and we want to spread all this little fun things that we learned.
Yes, so this is Revenge of the Doodle. You can see the doodle far away like that. And well, as we said a few times in the series, we start to quilt doing quilting for customers. So we had received some faces to quilt, and someday we look to that and think, that would be so much fun if we could doodle it, do some mustache or whatever. And well, of course we couldn't do that for customers because so many of that faces the person had done to her granddaughter that was graduating, whatever it was,
or getting married. It
was too fancy, formal to have a doodle on it. So that's why we decided to do our own faces to do this doodle and have a lot of fun. So go.
So we took an online class on collage quilts here in Brazil, and we did this
4 faces.
4 faces. And when we started this quilt, we didn't know if this would be good enough to go to a show, actually, even for us to put in submission to a show, because as this was the first time we are making this technique, was the first time we were making this setting piecing here, we didn't know if this would work. Actually, we actually didn't know if this was turned into a quilt on the end of the day.
Yes,
but it turned, and we loved it so much.
It is our only show quilt so far that has piecing and some kind of fabric technique, because all of the other show quilts, they're just quilting, machine quilting, and nothing else. It's just thread, and more thread. So this is the first and the only one so far that has this fabric stuff.
Another thing that we did on this quilt was that we hand dye all these shades in this quilt. And one thing that was really hard to do, especially for us that are not at all professional dyers or even intermediate dyers, we just like to play with it, and we didn't knew how to make this solid color. This was the look that we wanted to. We didn't want nothing like shade or maybe some kind of stamp on this particular fabric, because we wanted the solid look for the quilting to show. So we did hand dye all of these pieces, and it was really challenging challenging to do, because we didn't actually knew how to do that on that time. So we ran a lot of tests and we made it. We kind of discover how to do that, doing it, and we look at it and we think it is amazing right now, when we thought that we didn't know how to do that. So that's the thing. We had no expectations to this quilt, but one thing that we are very, conscious here is that not anything that you do for the first time will look like this, will be able to perform like this. And we do a lot of things bad for the first time, but this was one thing that we did for the first time that when we turned out, when we finished it, we said, wow, that's good for the first time.
Good enough. Oh. So this quilt, we finished it in April 2017, and it entered Grand Rapids from AQS in 2017. It also entered Des Moines in 2017 and won 3rd place,
which was a real, just to enter was like a real shock for us, because as you know now, this was our first time doing all this kind of thing that is not quilting, which means a lot of the quilt. So even the borders and the finishing here, we didn't, let me, get the paper please, so I can show our audience what I'm talking about. So this was the border treatment we chose to do, and we didn't know how to do that also. So we were not that secure with this quilt. We didn't felt so.
We didn't feel good because
with some techniques.
It was way too much things that we have an idea how they would turn out. So we were doing basically because we decided to do some faces, and well, in the end we thought, there is a humorous. Let me find out how to speak that clearly. There is that category to,
whimsical category.
Oh whimsical is the word. That's right. I was making a mess here in my head. So yes, there was the whimsical category, which we could submit it. So we decided to try. Why not?
And that show us how judges can, kind of measure all the things that you did very good and you did not so good, and place your quilt by what it means, or how it could be inspiring in the quilting community. And that was so clear for us with this quilt, because we know it's not perfect, and the jury knew that it was not perfect. So as we received this critiques on the sheets, but it's still placing and still awarding, because quilting is more than perfection. And we were so amazed that this quilt was able to win the 3rd place on Des Moines.
So It also went to Fall Paducah in 2017 and won first place. It was more than amazing that it won first place in
It
Fall
was
Paducah.
much more than we could ever
Yes.
ever dream of on this show. We all know what Paducah means to the quilting community, or we at least have an idea here what it
Yeah.
means. And when this show particularly, that was that show very special that AQS did, really told us that this quilt said something that could not be, ignored or let it pass.
Yeah.
So that's what it means actually for us. It says something about the quilting itself. It says something about the humor and how we can approach even life, how we can deal with situations. So it was a very special moment on our lives because, again, this award told us that quilts don't have to be perfect to be perfectly fine, to be perfectly, funny, and to be good at a level that it can compete on contests. So it was a very emotional moment for us on this particular show, but this quilt has more emotions to come.
Yes. So in 2019, it entered Quilt Canada and won Excellence in Innovation. So we were very, very happy because one of the reasons also we wanted to doodle a face was to show people that quilting can change, can transform a quilt, because a person that does only the machine quilting and nothing else can sometimes live a situation where people not always are going to look at the quilting, the machine quilting, and say, wow, that's stunning. They will more likely look at the color fabrics or something else. So we wanted to show, we wanted to put the machine quilting in some
kind of spot.
in kind of spot. So it worked out. So we were very, very happy that then we could find out that, well, there is some other people around the world that also think that quilting is something that you can look closely and, see the importance of it, because we all know that in the end the quilting is very important, but if you have too much information, that it could be, not, it won't be always the most important thing in a quilt, that's for sure, and
Yes.
that is natural. But when we're doing a quilt that has only solid colors, only solid fabric, and we do this treatment with the quilting, we can make people look at the quilting and with different eyes, and that was very nice because it worked. People saw it.
Yeah, a very a comment on that sheet that we received after the show.
The evaluation.
Yeah, the evaluation sheet. She said, "I'm laughing out loud." We were like, "Oh my god! Can you imagine the quilts turned over, and suddenly this quilt." And people laughing out loud because of the jokes. Are we talking about the jokes on this video? Do you think it's fine?
I think it would be too long. I think we should split it.
Did it? But okay. Okay, that's because we're doing another video on the back of this quilt, which is amazing because the back is white.
Yeah.
And the thread sketching quilt shows very well.
Yes, we haven't talked about that yet. So the fabric, every fabric that's in here, even the binding, is setting. And in the faces, we quilt with invisible thread, and the black quilting, the Doodle, is, and the gray thread here at the borders is tri-lobo thread. So it's quite simple, yet work with setting is kind of boring sometimes, but especially to do the binding.
Boring? I don't think it's boring. I think it's challenging.
Okay. That word is
I think it's challenging.
Yeah.
It's not boring at all. It's always moving. It's already not doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. It's not boring.
It's not boring at all.
It's pretty
challenging.
Yes. So, but still, we did it on setting because we wanted to try it.
And we wanted the shine, you know, we wanted that kind of sparkle look to the quilt. So we think it turns out really great.
Yes, it did. So you cannot see, let me show you here in the, help me please, here, no, here, it is reading 100% free motion quilting, but it is FMQQ. I need some lessons on the ABC. So, because yes, it was basically free motion quilted. Basically, I mean 100%, you know. The ruler work that we have here was free motion.
With some guides.
We use the ruler guides. We have these points, you know, but the quilting itself, we
could say that it's 99% free motion quilted.
Well, I don't know, because sometimes we find out some quilters around the world that think that if you don't draw the lines you quilt even
so
with even with the ruler, then if you just have this point and this point and just points here to put to
or
tell
guidelines,
then they consider it free motion quilting.
So it is free motion quilting in this case.
Yes. So I guess
it's kind of,
it will depend how you define free motion quilting. But since we in any of these we had a final design, you know, marked in the fabric, so we will say that is free motion. The monsters, everything, the letters, the bats, the cat,
everything. These letters, these figures here, here's these figures here, the everything. Yes.
So that's really nice, because even here the Doodle addicted that you cannot read entirely because it doesn't fit the camera, but everything was free motions. You cannot see, but you'll be able to see in the close-up video that we have, well, the jokes that we'll explain in the next video. And we quilted a long arm quilting machine because that's where we quilt this.
Because in addition of Doodle addictive, we also have a phrase up there that says movable quilting. So nice.
Yes. So let's take a look at the close-up video.
Okay.
So the color is strange because, you know, the cell phone does that sometimes, but soon the color will be normalized and we'll let you know. So these monsters are amazing. We draw them in 2014 when we actually started quilting.
It was one of our first designs that we created.
So here's Dracula. And of course, we haven't said yet, but the point of this quilt was to make quilting transform movie stars from the golden era of Hollywood. Into the
that's the real color of the quilt.
To transform those movie stars into monsters of, you know, Halloween terror movies.
B movies.
So and we love Halloween, so.
And we love this kind of movies too. We love Hollywood movies, but at once. But we love movies, yeah. We love cinema, all at once. But this quilt's particularly, special for us because we could do what we wanted to do in that first phase that we received to quilt, which was not ours and we couldn't.
Yeah. So here's the binding. It is flat piping. There's the black flat piping and then the colored flat piping with this little tuck,
A little charm.
Yeah. So that's the movable quilting and the doodle addiction. Addicted.
We really draw it like it was some kind of funny thing that we're doing while we talk on the phone with some friends, and we are like doodling all over a magazine or maybe a calendar that month that's passed. So this quilt is really fun for us.
Yes.
It's really, we thought it is hilarious. we really thought that.
Yeah.
We really put our jokes out here.
Enjoy looking at it.
And we loved how it turned out.
And it was one of the most satisfying quilts we've ever quilt because we were quilting and we were laughing.
Yeah.
It was really, really nice.
Every single thing we did, we stopped to laugh and to, look, I quilted some I don't know this word in English. We quilted something over here.
The cemetery thing.
Let's do a castle here. Oh, we can do that moon here. We can put some schools here. So it was so funny to do because it was actually spontaneous. It was actually something that we were in the mood while we were doing that. So I think that's because we are so happy when we look at it. We can stare at this quilt all the night, all the day, and even find the funny in it because we had that funny. It has this funny from our jokes when we were quilting it. And we really, really believe that quilting should be like that we have to, enjoy what we are doing. We have to have fun. It cannot be something that you
are not enjoying.
Stress about when you're doing. It has to be funny. So
of course, it doesn't have to be that funny.
Yeah, of course. This is some exaggeration.
This was almost, the doodle part. It was almost, some parts, not everything for sure. But this cat and the monsters, a little bit of it. It was almost improvisational quilting. Since we were deciding, we were looking, say, let's put that there. And so on. It is very, very different from any other quilts we did. And that we will show we had already showed in the previous videos, and that we will show in the next videos of this series. But it doesn't mean that in the others we haven't had any fun. We can, but it is different. The others
are more serious fun.
You're enjoying, but you're not laughing. You're enjoying, but you're not laughing because it is good to quilt. It is nice. It
is satisfying, but it's not funny. But
the process must be nice. You must be enjoying it because it took so long that if you're not enjoying it, well, it will miss the point.
That's what we think about it anyway. So
well, I recommend that you do that because life is short and enjoy every moment you can.
Yeah.
But anyway, So this is Revenge of the Doodle.
Let's talk about the techniques. We didn't.
We did.
I don't remember.
Oh,
so let's
So,
do
the faces were made with the collage technique.
Yeah.
And
we dyed all the shades here. It's less than 10 shades. Even it looks that it's more. It's just strategically placement. It's less than 10. It's not even 10 per face. So per color even. So it's not like it's a lot of dyeing here. It's just strategically placed so we could have this kind of effect from the faces.
So the faces were quilted with invisible thread. We use ruler also. For the face, I guess that's it, right?
Yes.
Right. So there's there's a lot. Basically everything is ruler work at the borders also, the gray borders. And the doodle in black thread was thread sketching.
Yeah.
With trellable thread, free motion quilting.
Yeah. There is 2 layers of flat piping and some white borders, not the common 1/4 inch border. Is a very, very bold border. Over there.
It is, like my thumb.
More than a half inch, I will say.
Yes, more than a half.
We can measure that right now. So it's more than it's a half inch. Okay,
great.
It's almost a half inch.
Right.
And that's it. It's a pretty simple quilt. Actually, the kind of specialness it has is only on the jokes. It's nothing more than that.
Yes.
And the backing is amazing, but it's for another video where we'll learn and laugh about our jokes. So thank you so much, guys, for having us, for watching this video. We are super excited we're doing this. So if you have any questions about any quilt we've ever done, please be more than welcome to ask and to join us on our videos, and even in your classes. You are more than welcome.
Bye.
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 Till next video.
Bye.